Hey, what's up YouTube? I'm here with a story about YouTube. So about a year ago on my other channel, I started a series of video essays that have had some big ups and downs throughout the past year. And I just wanted to share my experience of that YouTube journey because I always enjoy hearing other people's experiences and figure there's always something to be gleaned. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about each one and how it went and why I think they might have done, well or not so well, and just kind of tell you how it all went. And one other thing to note is I've already tried some videos on two other channels with kind of no success at all. I tried some videos about kind of meditative chill stuff, didn't really have any success there, and I tried another channel doing videos about like recording how-tos and like tutorials, and like one of those got a couple of hundred views, but pretty much no action there either. So I've been trying different things for a while too. So this is just the story of the first thing that kind of started to do something. And also to say, before I started trying to do any of these videos, I'd kind of wanted to do YouTube for a long time, or like had ideas, I should say, but never really did them because I never had any subscribers or anything. I had a channel that I've had for a long time, but the only subscriber was like me and a friend of mine. So I was like, well, why would I make something for an audience that doesn't exist yet? It's the chicken and the egg thing of like, well, like how can you get an audience if you don't make anything? But, a little over a year ago, I was listening to an interview with Mr. Beast, a dude I don't really watch, but of course I'm interested in what he has to say. And he mentioned that YouTube subscribers don't matter anymore, that it's like algorithm based. And if you have a good idea and you put it out there, the algorithm will pick it up and get it in front of people who would want to see it. That put the light bulb off in my head and really got me into just like trying this. And also I kind of felt like, well, if I learn how to make videos in the process, then I'm getting something out of it. So by the time I've learned how to make videos, let's see if I, even have anything going on. So that kind of got me going on it. And, like I said, tried the other channels, didn't really have any success, might go back to them. But when I got to the first video for the channel we're talking about here, some things started to happen. That is not this channel, it's my other channel. I'll put a link in the comments if you do want to check those videos out. You can, you don't really need to. You also don't really need to be interested in the niche, but I'm going to talk about the topics just because they relate to how well or how not well they do. But anyway, the first video is a video essay on a topic that I've kind of had a rap on for a long time. It's about in the 90s when Nirvana came along and made all the hair bands look stupid. They didn't just fall off the face of the earth. They actually stuck around and tried to make kind of relevant records and change their sound. And the results are funny. Made a video to look at that, got it all together, hit publish, and just started to watch the numbers and see if anything happened. And sure enough, within the first hour or two, people were watching it. It got like a couple of dozen views, which was surprising to me. That was more action than I'd seen on anything so far, and even got a couple of comments, which was kind of a freaky thing to have happen because I wasn't used to people really like thinking about it and responding to you about it at all yet. So that started to happen. That was cool, a little bit freaky. Over the next couple days, continue to get more views, and I think it kind of plateaued around like 500 views. That was awesome to me. That was more than I had expected for it to do, and it definitely put some wind in my sails to keep trying some of these and get on and make the next one. So over the month, that's what I did. I just worked on the second one, got it all ready. The second one takes a look at the metal band Metallica, made this ugly sounding record that no one really liked, and the video kind of says, wait, but isn't that cool, and makes kind of a counter argument. So the second video, get it all ready, hit publish. And when it comes out, I don't realize this, but Metallica actually is like just releasing a new album at the time that I had published. So I benefited from that. I know some people kind of think about these things and like line them up. For me, that was total dumb luck. I benefited from it, and it gets a pretty good amount of views. It gets, a few hundred views right off the bat. And over the first week, I think gets over 1,000 views, and even knocks up a couple thousand more, I think, by the end of the month. So I'm feeling good watching all this go down. I've had the first video do better than expected, the second video do even better than expected, and I'm working on my third video and getting it all ready. The third video takes a look at the singer Michael Bolton, known for soft rock stuff. And he actually started out as a more hard rock, heavy metal singer. So the video just kind of takes a look at all that and tells a little story about it. I felt really good about that video. I felt like it was the best job I had done telling a story. Thought it was like the coolest one I'd made so far, and since the other two had done well and I thought this one was the coolest one, I thought it was gonna do, you know, best of all. And I get it all together and I hit publish, and it does not do well at all. And of course, you know, from a subject matter standpoint, most people probably don't want to click on Michael Bolton, especially people who have, you know, clicked on my other stuff because I'm talking about, you know, bands like Metallica and stuff. So it's like a bummer. It's also not a surprise, but like I really was kind of hoping it would kind of catch some wave and people would just like realize how cool it was or something. But it kind of bombs. And also at this time, the Metallica video kind of dries up, and the first video had still just stayed plateaued at like 500 views. So I kind of feel like also I killed the momentum, but you know, what are you gonna do? That's what I do. So I just put my head down and start working on the next video and try to shake it off. The next video is a video that's looking at multiple artists, kind of like my first video. It's looking at artists from the 1980s who played like thrashy metal, who kind of changed and adapted a more new metal sound to fit in with the 90s. In that video, I get that one together, hit publish, and I decide I'm just not gonna watch the YouTube studio because, you know, it makes me neurotic. I think it makes everyone neurotic. I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna take a break from that. I'll check in on it in like a week and we'll just see how it did in a week. I hit publish on a Friday. I gotta work all weekend, so I'm just going to work, not really thinking about it. Turn off, you know, notifications, and on Sunday morning when I'm getting ready to go to work, I'm watching just some like regular YouTube, as one is to do. But when I'm watching YouTube, I happen to scroll past, you know, the part of the app where it shows your videos, and I just happen to catch that the video that I just published 2 days ago is like over 4,000 views, which startled me because, you know, I was hoping for like a few hundred views at best, yeah, and I thought like bad would be, you know, nothing or 12 or something, but I wasn't even expecting to see that number. Definitely freaked me out, but like in a good way. Didn't really have time to investigate. I had to like run out the door and go to work. So I go to work, but then over the next week I just kind of start following it, and you know, it starts to really catch a wave. It's getting you know, thousands of views, hits 10,000, starts getting closer to 20,000. But also to note, like while this is happening, that first video that had plateaued at 500 views and stayed there this whole time, like all of a sudden wakes up and like springs to life, and it starts doing hundreds of views, and then thousands of views, and then tens of thousands of views. So now both of these videos are just like rocking, and of course I'm like stoked on it. That's great. But just kind of like watching in bewilderment. And in this month where they're churning along, the channel hits the requirements for monetization, which is really cool too. But I should note that I use the music of these artists in the videos. I think that's really important in telling the story and talking about them. I cite fair use when I do it, but as a result, they are not eligible for monetization. So these videos cannot be monetized. It's just cool that the channel itself, you know, hits the requirements for monetization, but it's kind of a milestone, and that's all it is. I'm still stoked, and I'm excited to get to work on the next video, which I do. And the next video takes a little bit longer than a month, but I get it all together. Of course, these two videos have been cranking, so I'm excited. The next video is a look at the heavy metal band Pantera, known for being very heavy in the 90s, but they actually started out as kind of a lighter glam rock band in the 80s. So that video takes a look at that. I think it's going to do well because it's relative to my niche. I hit publish and it does not do so great at all. I don't know if it's because of it not doing so great or if it's just the other videos had kind of ridden their wave, but they kind of dry up. This video does not do great. It gets a few hundred views. I think it slowly kind of maybe hits 1,000, gets like a little bit of engagement, but like compared to what I had just seen, it does not do so great at all. You know, I feel like I did something, and I'm just like asking myself like, well, where did I go wrong? And I thought this was a good video too, and you know, of course it wasn't a good video, but you just start asking yourself these kinds of questions and like blaming yourself and trying to figure out what happened. But you know, I at least know enough to go, well, don't worry about it too much. Put your head down and just get to work on the next one, which I do. The next one is another multi-artist look. It takes a look at you know, kind of more established, iconic rockers who made records in the 90s that had an industrial sound, because Trent Reznor was making that industrial rock sound mainstream and popular. So I have high hopes for that video because it's another multi-artist look video, which are what the two that have done really well so far are. And I think it's another interesting topic, and I think I do a good job of it. So I get that one together, hit publish. This one also has taken a little bit longer than a month because like work got busy and stuff, but you know, I want to do a great job, so I get it done when it feels done. I hit publish and it just like totally bombs. Like it bombs worse than the previous video. You know, the previous video was underwhelming. This one like straight up bombs. Like it, you know, barely gets 100 views. You know, by the end of a couple weeks, it's stuck at like maybe 300. You know, that's not like terrible, but when you've just had videos hit like tens of thousands and 100,000, it feels pretty bad. And I'm just like really asking myself like what I did wrong. And I'm telling myself like at this point, I've like totally driven the channel into the ground somehow, and I don't know what happened. Maybe I took a little too long, or maybe I, you know, didn't get something right that I got right before, but I don't know what it is because I feel like I got everything, you know, just as right as the other ones. And, you know, you just kind of give yourself these lashings, but it's a bummer. It's not what I was hoping, but it is what happened. And again, I at least know enough to go, well, you know, put your head down and get to work on the next one. And so that's what I do. I get to work on the next one. The next one is not a multi-artist look. I'm just gonna look at one person, and I'm actually looking at a person I don't think will even do well. I'm gonna look at the actor Corey Feldman and look at his ridiculous music career. It's a fun video. I mean, I think they're all kind of fun, but this one really was like one for me. And I was like, well, you know what? If I drove the channel into the ground, I might as well just have fun and just kind of like try to, you know, sharpen my skills on making another video and not even worry about it trying to be a good one. We'll get to the good ones again later, you know, or try for them later, but let's just have some fun and knock one out that's, you know, like I said, kind of for me, and we'll just see if anyone digs it. And that video does actually okay. One thing I didn't account for is that like Corey himself has his own, you know, kind of like Corey fans, or at least people who are interested in him and the crazy stuff that he's doing. So it gets views based on that, and you know, maybe just gets, because of that, some general algorithm traffic, and it does all right. It gets, you know, a couple thousand views. I think it ends up getting over 10,000 views that month, and it puts some wind back in my sails and makes me feel like, you know, there is still hope. Like I didn't at least like totally kill the channel, and it makes me kind of excited again. Like I've been excited the whole time, but I just mean like as far as the ups and downs and like, and how I feel like I'm doing, like am I doing a good job or a bad job? I feel like, okay, maybe I'm kind of doing an okay job again. And at this point, it's like November. I think I published the first video in March, and I'm thinking to myself, well, you know, I could probably just like throw one together and get one more out by the end of the year. And so for this one, I just kind of pick a topic that I've again kind of had in my back pocket, and that I feel like I could, you know, throw it together pretty quickly because I know what I think about all this stuff. And this one takes a look at, you know, 70s progressive rock bands who are known for being complicated, playing more simplistic pop stuff in the 80s. And like I said, like I'm a dork. It's stuff that I've listened to for decades. I feel like I can just kind of put it together and get it out there, and I do. And you know, I don't cut any corners. I do a good job, but I just mean, you know, I kind of had the concept for this one all together, so I get it done. I get it uploaded by the end of the year. Though it hits a little snag in the content ID system and the fair use arguments that I have to make to use this stuff. So I'm not going to go into details about that here. I have another video on this channel where I kind of talk about some of that stuff if you're interested. But anyway, I have to deal with some blah, blah, blah to get it through that, and it's clear by January. So I get it published in early January, and you know, don't really know what to expect. I guess I have a little bit of hope because it's another multi-artist look, but the last multi-artist look that I did not do well, so now I don't know what to think anymore. So I hit publish, and it does not do well on day one. It gets like 100 views, again, like not terrible, but that's not promising when I've seen the numbers I've seen before. So I kind of just accept like, okay, it's another bomb, but whatever, like had fun making it. I think it's cool. And I just kind of take that to be the news and figure, you know, maybe I'm gonna just keep crashing this thing into the ground for a while. But what's interesting with this one is over that week, You know, because I guess YouTube will kind of try videos around in different markets, and if it can find a place that people are responding to it, it'll start pushing it more. And I guess that's what happens with this one, because this one wakes up. This one is the first one that had kind of a bum launch, but then over the next week, it actually started to get some momentum, and I start to notice like, oh, people are watching and people are commenting, and then it really just like catches a wave, and it starts to get, you know, hundreds, thousands of views, tens of thousands of views in like 2 weeks. And also at this time, the video that I really felt ran the channel into the ground from a couple videos ago, the industrial one, that one finally wakes up. That one had been stuck at like 300 and all of a sudden starts getting, you know, hundreds and then thousands. I think that one gets up to like 5,000. This new one gets, you know, up to like 100,000, just goes crazy. And so at this point, it's been 6 months since those 2 videos had really popped off before. So it's great, I'm excited. But also in the 6 months from that point until where I'm at now, I had felt, you know, basically bad the whole time, and like I just like totally blew it somehow and like couldn't figure out how I'd blown it. When the reality is just like putting out videos is crazy, and you never know what's gonna happen and you never know what they're gonna do. But if you keep making them, eventually more stuff, knock on wood, happens. So that was very cool to experience, especially because I'm a little late making this video. I was gonna make this video in January to talk about my experience of the year. And at that point, I would have still been kind of down in the mud. I had the Corey video that had just kind of done well again, but I still was way away from that success I'd had in the summer, and I was gonna just kind of talk about, you know, the feelings that went along with, you know, having the kind of high moment and then being months after it and then feeling kind of like tripped out about it, but still having to try to find your groove and do it. So it's cool that because of that recent video, there's a little bit of a happy ending here at this moment in time, though. You know, I have no idea what's in store for the next year. I'm definitely gonna keep making these videos because I enjoy it and because people respond to them, but I have no idea what's gonna happen. I actually just released one more. This one is a look at the singer Mariah Carey, the pop singer, and in the 90s she made kind of like a secret alternative album. So that video takes a look at that. I actually didn't expect this one to do so well, just because I knew it was a single artist look and it was kind of a sidestep from the topics that I've talked about otherwise musically, but it's another one that I really felt was cool and wanted to do, so kind of another one for me. So I didn't expect this one to do well, and this one kind of didn't do so well so far. I mean, it's just been a few days, but it's showing all the signs of like not doing great. Got maybe 100 views, a little bit of engagement, but not much. But this is the first time that my expectations kind of aligned with what happened. With the first video, you know, I didn't really know what to expect and it kind of did well. The second one, I didn't think it would then pop off further, but it did. By the third one, when I was kind of getting excited, I thought it would do good and it did not do well. And then from that moment on, it's kind of like everything I've thought might happen, the opposite has happened. So this is the first moment where, you know, I kind of had an alignment with my expectations, but just meaning to say that like that's because, you know, making videos is wild and you never know what's going to happen. So I hope you've enjoyed, you know, hearing about this YouTube journey of my last year. It's been cool. The ups have been, of course, cool. The downs have been frustrating, but it's good to experience them. And I hope it encourages, you know, you, if you've been thinking about making videos, to, you know, start making them. And if you are making them and you're not seeing any results, just, you know, keep making them, because, you know, I had to try a couple of different channel ideas before I found one that was even doing anything. And even with this one, it's doing some cool stuff, but, you know, I know it's not doing the crazy stuff that some other things I see out there are doing. And I have no big goals other than to just try to make cool stuff and hope that people connect with it. So that's the story of the wild ride. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.